Alright, everyone, tell me if this is real or fake, or if it's an old image reposted. According to the comments, someone said this was taken over Antarctica by a submarine many years ago before something got taken down over there. But I don't know, I can't say. But this is now being apparently resurfaced online. Someone released what they claimed was the clearest image of this object, supposedly taken out above Alaska. Now, this is the detail on this channel. Now, I don't know. This is on a channel titled Unexplained Mysteries. Someone has just released the clearest image of this object taken down over Alaska. Today, this person said they took a closer look at the image of taken down over Alaska. Debates are still going on about what was actually taken out above Alaska. In the last 24 hours, very interesting photographs have been shared around social media alleging to depict this object in question, allegedly. One image now that's currently gaining traction is this one you see here, apparently. I've looked and I can't see it. Maybe it's all been taken down. I don't know. So, that it shows the object is in the shape of a disc. It's an unknown object. No one knows where this photograph was taken. No one knows its origin, so it's been shared. We don't know. Those who shared it, they say it was captured by a local somewhere in Alaska. They claim before the object that the military took down was shot down. This supposedly was taken by a civilian before it was shot down, but this looks more like an Antarctic or Arctic location. This doesn't appear to me like Alaska, so I'm going to say it's possible that it's from a different year or a different time than right now, maybe several years back, because some in the comment section of this channel were claiming that this image was from many years ago and they're trying to recirculate it. If that's the case, why is it being removed off the internet? Because I can't find any new information about it. Another interesting thing, guess what's been going on? I've been having a very loud ringing in my ear, very, very loud ringing again tonight, and there was a chemical smell through the air. A lot of individuals reporting chemical smells, multiple explosions around the United States and other nations included. There's been multiple train derailments or vehicles parking in the track and making the train crash, and lots of chemical spills affecting our air and water and wildlife. So, and people as well. People reporting sores and their skin disruptions, issues, itchiness, bloating, eyes having redness and itching, rashes all over their body, coughing, congestion, dizziness, confusion, nauseation, and just feeling very rough because of these chemicals in the air. When you talk about weather model with people, they don't really want to talk about it. They don't really understand it. Many people don't get it to the full degree. They don't really process what's going on either. I've had people ask, well, why is the weather so crazy now? Why are things... We are in the middle of a natural cycle. But it's not only that, but it's being perpetually accelerated to a massive degree due to GeoEng and Weather Mod. And many people out there say, well, that's just a CT. I witness it. You can see not only the trails, you can smell the smells, you can see what they're doing. When you look up the evidence, you can see it. A lot of it's being removed, but I have witnessed it. There were over 580 Weather Mod programs and inventions since the mid-1900s. Many more than that. I think they began some of them in the 1920s. They began some of their Weather Mod programs and inventions in the 1920s. Whether it is from barium or cloud seeding programs or what we tested during the Vietnam War and the Korean Wars. We have tested many different things, and then they took that technology and utilized it. We're from the Highly Active Auroral Research Program, or HARP. They send beams into the atmosphere. Now, even though it's only going into the ionosphere, it's pushing that layer up. And that disrupts the natural flow and cycle of things. Now, that has been shut down for a little while and then started back up, just like CERN has. But that's for another entire... that's for an entire other day, another topic for another day. But there is so much evidence to support GeoEngine and weather mod taking place right now before our very eyes, and people continue to say that it's not, that we are CTs or you're a CT, you're just crazy. But we can see more and more now that we're not. And there seems to be something new every year. Every single year we've got something new coming up to distract us from the bigger picture of a global agenda unifying toward the other direction. And you and I have got to unify. I know I have always felt that we were at a time of importance and revealing. Since I was a child, I knew that these were the times. This is a time of not only unification, but it is the time of the new age and the Lord's coming. I knew, and I've known it since I was a child. I felt it without even having to be told. I felt it. And I don't know whether or not some of these things people are seeing are some sort of projections. I do know they are going to pull that type of thing. I saw the mysterious lights. I saw those mysterious laser lights tested over Hawaii. Could be for projections. Some people say Project Bluebeam. I don't know. I saw the spiral over Norway many years ago, and then another spiral spotted over Hawaii just weeks ago. A strange spiral they blamed on SpaceX, but long before Elon Musk's SpaceX program or satellite program was even implemented, those spirals were seen in the sky several times before then. Some in Texas, some Tennessee, the United States, and some in Norway, and some were seen now in Hawaii. So that was before Hawaii, before SpaceX, before all that. What I'd like to know is the other interesting objects that were seen out in space that were covered up, that were just flying through the sky, just white orbs. I've heard a lot in the news recently. They've also talked about it on some talk radio stations where they have some unknown objects that were flying through space, and some orbs that were seen in the United States, and no one has discussed that at all. I've seen many of them myself, just like the thing I saw right behind a jet airplane going over our sky, and I happened to be recording the birds, and I saw that and went to record it. You saw that, where also out of Kansas City, over in Kansas, they saw the same exact thing. It might have been Missouri or Kansas, I don't remember, but it was one or the other, and they saw the exact same thing that I captured, except mine was right behind an airplane. And then I saw it was like right with the airplane till it disappeared. And then there was also another one when I was watching, and it went right over. And these things do have a connection. I don't know how to explain it to you, but you feel a connection with them, like they're aware of you and you're aware of them, and they're aware of you being aware of them. So it's sort of a consciousness connection. So they are something more. It's interdimensional. Not necessarily what the military is dealing with. I'm not talking about that. That might not be the same thing. I think they're doing some sort of cover-up there, possibly, and staging something for a distraction. But what I'm talking about now, I've switched over to the actual thing, the actual interdimensional thing that's taking place, the actual interdimensional objects, crafts, beings, and sightings that are taking place, from myself included and many others out there. But interestingly, the last one they claim was more difficult to maneuver. And I know some people said if it doesn't have a heat signature, then they can't use their intelligent devices to track it and knock it down. But if that's the case, how did they do that with how the heck did they get the first balloon, quote unquote, down if it needed heat signature. But anyway, all right. So, lastly, we do know that it does lead toward this unification of their system, but I know the Lord's in control no matter what. Just some interesting things going on, and it's a lot that needs talking about, but you don't see a lot of people covering it. I've seen in the past these crafts. Now this is different than what I'm talking about with the military stuff, but I've seen these crafts that seem to be aware of you being aware of them, and they are completely. There's some stories and experiences from people I know in my family. Not going to say who in this video, but I'm going to tell you in another video. And I myself have encountered that they're aware of you being aware of them. I've had encounters that were freaky, but for one, a craft that seemed like a drone but it had eyes all around it, and it was wobbling off at the pine trees after we heard a loud sound down in the yard. It sounded like a helicopter taking off, but then there was nothing there physical. Later, we saw two red and a green light down there in the creek branch, but it was almost as if there was this, and it was an intelligent, and it just, I ran up to it. I didn't have my phone on me, but it was just kind of wobbling all over the place. It's like the Jay Leno fly. Did you hear about that? Sorry, but comedy there. There's a YouTube channel called the Jay Leno Fly. They post a lot of Craig Ferguson videos, and Jeff Peterson. But anyway, back to this. This thing was just right there in the pine trees, and it was just it didn't make any noise. But I'm adding the sound effect. It was just all over the place, and then just went toward the pine tree, and it acted like it was a rogue object thinking for itself, while the other 6 were lined up in the hills, going up this holler, just flying with stingers sticking out in the front. And they looked like backwards helicopters, but they were all lined up, and I've seen them. And this thing with the eyes all around it just took off to the hills and finally went behind it, but it was wobbling all around, not expecting me to go to it. And it was almost like it was intelligent, and it was thinking for itself and observing me. But that's just one encounter. Alright, that's all for this video. I will talk later. I think there's more than what meets the eye, than what people are, more than what meets the eyes, and more than what they're telling. I know there is, and I know there's some sort of a cover-up, but there's also, I think, a distraction taking place. Bottom line, yes, there are. I don't necessarily think, and I don't know, but I think this might have been an image from many years ago that they're using and spreading online as more distraction, but it might not be. I don't know. I feel like I've seen it before, though. Could be an ME phenomenon too. I don't know, but the things that I've seen, you know it when you see them, and you know they're real. And they're not. They are not our run-of-the-mill, just our government stuff or military. Now, mind you, the military does have objects that are advanced beyond anything that the civilians and citizens are aware of, but what I've witnessed is highly intelligent, interdimensional type of things. What we're witnessing here, I don't know. Maybe it's AI, or maybe it's something, and they're not showing us anything, so maybe it's just a story, a cover-up, or distraction. Regardless, interesting things are going on. Signing out from this video.